Oh, hello, YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, we are going over my most anticipated reads for 2024. Now, there's like a slight asterisk here because these are my anticipated reads in so that I have already pre-ordered them. So it's really my list of everything I have pre-ordered so far for 2024. I think my list this year is a bit more cultivated, I would say. I'm pre-ordering a little bit less and trying to focus in on books that I'm really excited for. So let's get into it. First things first, I have The Bride Bet by Tessa Dare. Now, I have had this pre-ordered since the end of 2019 and it still hasn't come out. Allegedly, it's coming out in just a little bit. In January of this year, allegedly it's coming out. We're fingers crossed, but I don't know. I've seen no promo for it. It's just allegedly coming out. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm still really hyped for it. And coming out February 1st, of course, House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 3 of her Crescent City series. I think it's going to be 4 books, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, it's book 3. I'm pretty excited. The last book went in a lot of wild directions. I'm gonna make sure I read a spoilery recap before I go into it because so much happened in that book. But I am still excited, even though I considerably liked book 1 more than book 2. But this is book 3. It could be cool. House of Flame and Shadow, you know, it's kind of with demons and stuff, and the demon characters in this book are the ones that are intriguing to me. So let's go. I'm very excited. Also coming in February, I have Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. And honestly, I'm just pre-ordering it because Tessa Bailey really never fails me. When I go into a Tessa Bailey book, I'm looking for funny smut. And that's exactly what I get. I'm here for vibes. You know, I don't think I'm reading like a Pulitzer Prize nominee here. It's gonna be dumb smut, and that's exactly what I'm here for, and it's going to deliver. This one is a bit more of a sports romance, but yes, it's just gonna be like smutty delights in my hands, and I'm so excited for it. Another February release, I have The Bad Ones by Melissa Albert. Now, Melissa Albert is a bit of an acquired taste author. I think you either really love her books or you just hate them. Like I haven't found a lot of like mediocre or mid reviews of it. I happen to love Melissa Albert's writing style, and the thing I love most about Melissa Albert's works is that she deals with the idea of feminine rage a lot in her books. I don't know what that says about me as a human, but a lot of times they're more YA-centric, and we have just angry teenage girls. And let's be real, teenage girls aren't always cutesy. Sometimes they're downright angry, and like wild stuff happens. And just it's always really complex, interesting relationships. They're usually kind of dark and twisted. I just love Melissa Albert books, so I'm really excited for this one. This one has like creepy disappearances, an alleged goddess in it, and like a childhood friendship, like one of those toxic childhood friendships that you really shouldn't be friends with them, but like you're still friends with them. And it's only gonna end in tears, you know? But yes, I'm so pumped for this. Yet another February release. February is a huge month for books for me this year, but I have 50 Beasts to Break Your Heart and Other Stories by Jenna Rose Nethercott. And Jenna Rose Nethercott wrote Thistlefoot. And oh boy, I loved Thistlefoot. It's so effing good. It made one of my best books of the year lists. And this is the next release from Jenna Rose. And it's like short stories, but it's kind of in the same dark folklore tradition that Thistlefoot was. So yeah, this is just an auto buy because I was obsessed with Thistlefoot. It's remarkably good. Like I was astonished how good it was. So this one, I needed it. Fingers crossed it like magic strikes twice, because I would be so disappointed if it didn't. But yes, just an auto by author from reading one book on, I'm like, I'm gonna buy whatever they put out next. All right, so let's move over into March. And we have The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. So this is the sequel to The Stolen Heir. And I really, really like The Stolen Heir. Like, could it have been better? Probably. But like, it's just got the right creepy vibes that I'm with. Like, this 2024, year of vibes for me. I just want to you know, synchronize feelings with the book I'm reading. I don't really necessarily need it to be good. I just want to like feel good reading it. That's the whole point. And this one, like, I think I'm gonna have a really good time with. You know, the Fae in this world aren't really friendly. They're kind of tricksters, dangerous. I think our heroine has like shark teeth. So like, what more could I want? So yes, very excited, pre-ordered it. Also coming out in March, I have Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff. This is the next book after Empire of the Vampire, which came out several years ago. So this is finally, we're getting a sequel. And it's gonna be a chunker of a book, but guess what, everybody? It's about vampires, written in Jay Kristoff's style. Not everyone loves Jay Kristoff. I happen to like his writing style, so I pre-ordered this. I'm very excited to read it. And I think, again, it's going to be another one of those books I'm going to have to read a spoilery synopsis of the previous book just because it's been so long. Like, I still remember a fair amount that happened in it, but like, oh boy, I need a refresher. Like, I'm not going to remember most of these people's names. But we're following Gabriel. He's a silver saint, which is kind of, I don't know, I'm not going to get into all the lore of this imaginary world, but he fights vampires kind of professionally. And it's his saga. So very excited for this one. Moving on over to April, we have The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Obviously, it's Leigh Bardugo. Like, I wasn't going to pre-order it the second I heard about this book. I pre-ordered it immediately the day it was announced. And really didn't even look up a synopsis. I'm like, it's Leigh Bardugo and doing like Spanish Inquisition era. And I was like, tell me no more, take my money. This one also involves magic, you know, the Spanish Inquisition being used for your magical abilities, all things that Leigh Bardugo knows how to write. And I'm excited for it. I mean, Leigh Bardugo has toyed about with historical fantasy, but they were made up worlds, and this one definitely takes place in Spain, but like a more magical version of it. So real world events put into here. So I'm really excited to see like the research that goes into it, and also how Leigh Bardugo will incorporate magic into a real world setting. I think it's gonna be good. Obviously, it's Leigh Bardugo. I would be highly surprised if I didn't like it. Moving on over to the summertime, I have The Au Pair Affair, also by Tessa Bailey. Now, I mentioned Tessa Bailey earlier that I pre-ordered a book from her. She's putting out 2 books this year, and they're like a part of the same series, so I think it's like a duology here. So The Au Pair Affair is the sequel. Good, dumb, fun smut. Again, it's a bit more sports related in this instance, but Tessa Bailey is a writing machine. She doesn't make you wait. She's like, oh, there's 2 books in this series. I'll put them out 6 months apart from each other. Here you go. And you know what? Thank you, Tessa Bailey. You're making the world a better place. You're not making your readers wait a long time. I don't want to wait a year. Maybe wait 6 months. That's my limit. So it's going to be funny. It's going to be smutty. It's going to give me everything I need. So I've already pre-ordered the whole series coming out this year. So fingers crossed I like them. Now I have a whole bunch of stuff coming out in August that I'm super hyped about. Starting off with The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I've been waiting for a new Casey McQuiston book, and finally it's here. The second I heard about it, I pre-ordered it. And this is another rom-com. We're featuring 2 bisexual disasters as our main characters. And they end up on the same European like food and wine tour, and they challenge themselves, like each other, to a hookup competition to prove that they're over each other. But like, guess what, everybody? They're not. They're not over each other. So I think it's gonna be kind of spicy. It has a lot of travel elements. So I'm thinking fish out of water situations. There's like a lot of free space for zaniness to occur, which is something I really enjoy in Casey McQuiston books. They're rom-coms, but they also have that zany quality where it's a little madcap and I'm just like, enjoy it. I'm here for vibes and the vibes are good. Also coming out in August, I have Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I read Assistant to the Villain in 2023. Loved it. Surprisingly, it could have gone very poorly because it's a TikTok series that got turned into a novel. However, the novel is a joy to read. It is so fun. Like, I feel the joy that the author has for these characters on every page. So I thoroughly liked it. Big kind of cliffhangery ending. So we're going to be getting the new book and, oh boy, Apprentice to the Villain. You can guess what's happening here. I love a good villain origin story. We're getting one here. Also, zany madcap antics. It's a fantasy world where, the villain has its own office, kind of like, the Office TV show. So if you like The Office and fantasy, make a baby, and then you get Apprentice to the Villain. So here we are, and I'm very excited to read it. A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley is everything right now. I'm so excited to read it. If you guys aren't on the Sarah Hawley train, you need to get on to it. These books are incredible. This is book 3 of this series. I read the first book, loved it, pre-ordered book 2, read the whole thing the day it came out. Like, that's how much I was like into this. And then immediately pre-ordered the next one. And you know what? I'm probably going to pre-order the next one after this one. Like, this series is great. It's paranormal romance. There's a town and has all kinds of different magical creatures in it, vampires and werewolves and witches and demons, oh my. And they all fall in love with each other at certain times. So we've had witches and demons twice, and now we're moving on to werewolves and vampires. Of course, you're making it better. I'm so excited for this. They're so funny. They're steamy. They have like fun paranormal elements. It's just like a good time. So again, it's about vibes. The vibes are vibing here. Like I'm gonna pre-order all of them. I just like them so much. Last up on my pre-ordered list for now, I have Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca. Now, I've read a fair amount of books by Jen DeLuca. She wrote this series all happening like at a Ren Fair, so steamy romances, Ren Fair. Already kind of into it. This one I feel is like tailor-made for me because basically they took a rom-com and ghost hunting and they made a baby, and it's this book. And I love ghost hunting shows. I know they're silly. I don't care. I love them. They're my junk food television. So here we are. We have kind of a Grump Sunshine romance in a haunted town. They basically, tourism, they play up the whole haunted thing. And it's called Boneyard Key. Like, oh my gosh. I'm like so into this because of the cheese. The cheese is good here. It's this, I love it. It's going to be zany. It's going to be funny. Hopefully smutty. I can't guarantee smut. Jen DeLuca's a little up and down with her steaminess level. So I don't know where it's going to go that way, but it's probably at least going to be very funny. Rom-com, ghost hunting, the vibes. I'm all about them. All right, so that was just the books I have pre-ordered so far. Again, I'm trying to be a bit more selective in the books I'm pre-ordering because I don't want to just go overboard and then have like a bajillion books on my shelves, which I mean, too late. There's already a bajillion books on my shelves, but I don't need it to get worse by getting a whole bunch of books that I realistically am not the most interested in and also just don't have time to read properly. So being selective this year. And so far, all the books I've picked, I am vibing with hardcore. So I feel pretty good about this for now. Let me know in the comments down below, what 2024 release are you super hyped for? Was it one of mine or is it one I haven't called out in this list? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access to videos and a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.